Nicks and Bruises, we are back. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. I got my guy, DJ Shuttle, in the building. Oh, man, what a win last night. What a roller coaster ride. How you feeling, man? We was texting. The text thread got a little quiet after Brunson went away. After Brunson was in the back for a while. But
Oh
he came
yeah.
back. He returned.
Hey, listen, you saw my text. He about to do Willis Reed. I told you.
You sure did. On the anniversary.
Reggie Miller, aka the Boogeyman, not tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight, Reggie Miller.
But I kind of broke down the game briefly with Sim last night on the post game. I kind of want to focus on these injuries. You know, Knicks are dropping like flies. OG went down, hamstring, like we just talked about. Brunson went down in the first quarter. Didn't get to play the second quarter. Came back with a vengeance in the second half, which was great. But I mean, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. We're running out of guys to step up. It's next man up. But we're running out of guys to step up. We got Precious, who I assume is going to take over the spot of OG any games he missed. We got Deuce. Are we going to see Burks? Is that even good if we do? Are we going to see Sims? We need some more size. That's where we really lacking with Mitchell Robinson going down, OG going down. Obviously, Randall not here. Oh man, what are your thoughts, man? How concerned are you? What do we do? Does the rotation open up? It's
Yeah,
so many question marks.
yeah. It opens up like a crack on the door. Like it opens up that much. Uh Precious is going to start in place of OG. I think that's a pretty obvious thing. He's got the experience against Siakam, I'm sure from practices and scrimmages and all that. So while we lose some with OG on offense, what we lose with him on defense, I don't think is going to be a huge drop off, but it is definitely a drop off of note. Um, yeah, I expect Precious to play them crazy minutes like he played when Mitch was out and then Ihart went out. He was playing 40 plus minutes. That's what I expect. He's gonna play 40 plus minutes, and Sims is gonna come in off the bench. He's gonna give Hardenstein a blow. Hart's gonna go to the backup power forward if Precious needs to sit, and Burks is gonna come in and be the wing guy. And Deuce is gonna play the minutes he plays, rotating, for Dante and Brunson to give some minutes off. Hart's gonna play 48 minutes. We already know this.
So you do think it'll be an 8-man rotation and not 7?
I think it'll be a 8-man rotation. Yeah, absolutely. I think Burks has to see some time because the deal is that Precious is not going to do 48 minutes.
And he's
So
not going to give you anything offensively. Or anything offensively is a bonus. Let me say that.
I don't even think it's a matter of, you know, how much he gives offense or not. I just think it's just that at some point players are going to need to get a break. And we already know Hart doesn't get a break. Dante and Brunson, they're probably going to play 44 minutes. So between the two of them, maybe Deuce is gonna get 7-8 minutes, and whatever minutes Precious has to come out, most likely Burks is gonna get those minutes, and Hart's gonna go to power forward, and that's why Burks has to, even if it's only 3-4 minutes in the first half, 3-4 minutes in the second half. I don't think it'll be more than 10 minutes. I'll be surprised if it's more than 8, but I think he plays.
How concerned are you with Josh Hart? Considering, I mean, he's been giving us, like you said, 48 minutes a game for about 4 straight games, I believe. He's given us, besides the minutes, his on court, he's given us everything he can. You know what I
He's
mean?
young. He's
Everything we
young.
need. But
He's
what
young.
I
I'm
no,
not worried.
I
I'm not
agree.
worried at
I
all.
agree. He's young, but now the burden becomes even more. You know what I mean? Like we need more from him. How do you even ask for more from what Josh has been given? You know what I mean? I'm not talking about minutes. He can't play any more minutes, obviously. You know what I mean? I'm talking about production wise.
Well, I don't really. I think that hopefully, Precious has got to come in, right? Precious, he played very well this game when he played against Philly, and he didn't really play much in the series, but when he played well. You know what I mean? So for me, I just think that we just need, if we can get Precious to play real solid defense, right? If he can keep Siakam at bay and play good team defense, and we could maybe slow the game down, less possessions, better defense, less fast breaks, keep the score down, then maybe we don't need Josh Hart to do a whole lot more. You know what I mean? And if Dante takes the challenge and he steps up, Deuce hasn't really had to come out, hasn't had a big game yet. So, he could, we know Deuce gets hot. And shit, if Brooks is gonna play, maybe he gives us a couple of minutes and does something satisfactory and scores a few buckets and plays some decent defense. For me, it's really about the defense right now more than the offense. Indy's going back home. They're gonna have the crowd behind them. Like game 3, we gotta just slow them down.
I mean, I, you seem less concerned than I am. I do think we can still win the series. Um, I'm more concerned with the trend. You know what I mean? I know these guys are young. I know the minutes are up, but I feel like we have to, like, me and Sim talked about this last night. He doesn't think, he agrees Sims needs to play. He doesn't think he will. So things like
I was watching that, and I actually did text him, and
did you
yeah, I was actually watching on the big tube, so I couldn't put comments. I couldn't put comments in, but Sims has to play. Like, what do you? I mean, the only way Sims doesn't play is if Siakam gets in foul trouble. I'd rather if Turner gets in foul trouble and they put Siakam to the 5
mm,
for a lot of the game.
mm.
If they put Siakam to the 5 for a lot of the game, then they don't really have anybody else, any other bigs. Really, they have the kid Isaiah.
Jackson, yeah.
He's tough, but if you had to put if you had to put if you had to put Precious on Siakam, and it might be asking a lot, and this is where you're going. If you had to put Hart on Isaiah for a short stint, I wouldn't feel crazy. Like, the guy, he's offensive rebounds, he's a hustle guy, but it's not like he's posting up and going to take you down low and going to body you. He's not doing all that. They're not running the offense through him. You know what I mean? He kind of gets to lose. He gets to lose change. That's what I'm
He's
saying.
I agree, but he's been big for them in this series. They haven't won, but you know what I mean? He's been effective. I mean, game,
But
game,
what has
game
he
one,
been effective doing though?
hustle plays, offensive rebounds. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what a Hart specializes in. So if I had to put a Hart on him for short stints, I'm not going to feel crazy.
I don't know, man. That's tough. And that's what I mean. Like, Hart has been giving us everything, and it was such an advantage for him not to have to guard up and play up. With OG on the floor, and now, obviously, is going back to that part where he's got to guard up, he's got to play up, and not saying he's incapable, because he is definitely capable. But my concern is, like I said, he's been giving us so much, like everything you can ask for, and now I feel like, what I mean, there ain't no more room on the plate. But we gonna throw some stuff on top. You know what I mean? Like, yo, here's
Listen,
some more stuff
the
for
great thing
you to
is
do.
Josh is up for the challenge, and he's here for it. So especially going on the opposition's home court, he's going to come in with that underdog killer mentality. And man, like, if you come out here, like, yo, listen, we just got to win game 3. If we win game 3, they'll be demoralized. So let's just do everything we can to get this win. Everybody give your best effort.
Agree.
That's it. And that's it. Win game 3. Sims, listen, I'm confident in Sims. I'm sorry that Sim is not confident in Sims. You know what I mean?
No,
But
no, he's not. He doesn't think Tibbs is going to play him. Not that he
oh,
doesn't think.
right. He actually he did say that. And to your point though, like you said last night, he's already in the circle of trust. I mean, this isn't his first year with the team. When big guys were out earlier in the season, he's already got run. So this is nothing new. Like I said, we standing on business. We here for business, and that's it. Everybody, if you got to listen, Toppin, be ready. Toppin, be ready. You don't know. Toppin just might be in this game. Toppin, be ready.
Toppin been playing. Oh, you talk about young. I'll top
New York Toppin.
it. Obi's been playing well. I do want to, give him his kudos. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
been
he missed
playing
that.
well.
He missed that nice layup. That was nice.
That was good for us. Did you watch Carlissimo? Oh, that's his name. What's his name? They coach Carlisle. You watch his post game interview?
I saw him crying a little bit about the refereeing, but I clipped it. I didn't want to hear all that. I ain't want to hear all that. Listen, you're gonna get your calls in Indiana when they come up. So just relax. Listen, the
Um,
guy iHeart did not double dribble. Like they called a phantom call. Listen, the ball didn't bounce off the guy's foot the last game. You had a reasonable gripe. I get it. That had nothing to do with what happened last night. Last night it was called pretty well, actually. I mean, this is like old school basketball. There's a lot of contact. It's very physical out there. They're not like blowing the whistle real quick on contact. So listen, it is what it is. The playoffs. We're
so
not
here,
here for what did Van Gundy say or Miller say? We're not here to be friends. We're not here for a date. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the playoffs.
here's the thing though. After game one, apparently he put together a clip of about 35 calls or something, 35, 38 calls that officials he alleged that they got wrong. He said he never sent it in. He took the high road, but after this game, he's definitely sending stuff in. So he did another about 40 something calls for last game. So he sent in the 40 something plus the 30 from the other game, 70 something plays he sent into the league to review and show the unevenness. And apparently in the playoffs, the Knicks, the opposing team gets those footage as well. So my question is a couple parts. You mentioned it. You kind of said they're gonna get the calls at home. Do you think this sways the officiating on the road for us, at home for them? Um, do you think the Knicks should put together a compilation as well, or should they just take the high road as well? Because for me, it's gonna be missed calls throughout the game on both sides, regardless. But 78 calls between two games, I think that's excessive. Um, I think the referees will not take kindly to that. To be honest, like I think they will look at that as a slap in the face. But what do you think? Do you think there's any benefit to him sending these tapes in? Does it help them moving into the home series for them?
I think it's one of those things where it's something that the NBA and referees. I mean, if something's like super egregious, that's one thing, right? It's like like when Testaverde didn't make it into the end zone, and then they decided to put replay in right away because it was such a horrible call. But I don't think any like they missed a call. It could have went this way, could have went that way. It's been more or less that the missed call on the ball on the foot that was bad. But I really think predominantly this is stuff that the NBA takes into the offseason. The referees, they have referee camp and they review calls that were missed, they review trends, and I think it's really more of an offseason thing or stuff that you can look at throughout the year and they send memos out to the referees. But um, yeah, so what? He's sending information in. Great. Knock yourself out. Have a great time with that. You know what I mean? Because I think quietly, And there's one thing about this Knicks regime that I love. Quietly, I believe that they send information in too. So, when you're in the playoffs, you get a little bit more home cooking with the refereeing. But like the words of my man Joe Kim Noah. Nobody. I don't hear nobody saying they're going to Cleveland for vacation. I don't hear nobody saying they're going to Indianapolis for vacation either. Truth is, at this point, the NBA needs the Knicks to go to the next round. This is what the NBA needs. Okay,
Yeah,
call it.
I don't like that narrative. I don't because I don't want anything given to us. You know what I mean? I feel like we fight,
Oh
we
no,
earn
the
it.
team is earning it. The team is
We,
earning it. The team is earning it. But what I'm saying is, he can submit 70 videos and 70 clips all he wants. Okay, Indiana's gonna have to go out there and earn it. Reggie Miller said it pregame. Like you can't, and this is something that I always was told as a young player. There were certain teams. We had a rival team where I grew up. Shout to Hempstead, right? I'm from Uniondale, Long Island, Hempstead, Long Island. If you go to Hempstead and you play, right? Shout to anybody from Hempstead. If you go to Hempstead and play, you're not gonna get calls. Okay, they're gonna slash the tires of the referees. They're gonna beat the referees up after the game. They're gonna do anything in Hempstead to the refs after the game, right? So you can't let the refs determine the game. You have to win the game.
play ball.
You can't leave it in the hands of the referees. And truth be told, like all right, maybe there's a couple of calls here or there that might have been able to go the other way. You got one obvious call, the ball on the foot, but I mean, how many times did they like tackling Brunson, TJ McConnell in the backcourt? I hope they're putting that in their report. Every time McConnell's like all over him, you know what I mean? The same thing with the Sixers. Batum was all over Brunson the same way. So, like I said, I'm sure the Knicks are putting their reports in as well. And it's the playoffs, B. It's the playoffs. Stop crying.
um,
Stop crying, Rick Carlisle.
yeah, I watch all the post game interviews,
I never liked Rick
and,
Carlisle anyway.
and Halliburton and TJ both sound more like coaches in their post game interview than the coach himself. They didn't blame the refs. They said we got to play better. They said we got to step up. You know, I don't like the crying either. I think it was excessive. He didn't even ask. He wasn't even asked a question before he started. Talking about the footage and the
And that's why I turned it off.
film.
That's why I turned it off. Listen, was it the referees that held Halliburton to only 6 field goal attempts in game one? Was it the refs that made all them shots that OG was making in the corner threes? Is it the refs that get all the offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter when it mattered most? You got to be kidding me! Out of
Yeah,
here.
we had 4 offensive rebounds, I believe, in the first half, and ended with 12. And I want to say most of them was in the fourth quarter.
Shout out to Charles Barkley. He mentioned that. It's like, the stats could be very misleading because Indiana won the rebounding edge, but when they mattered most, the Knicks got those rebounds. Like,
Yeah.
referees had nothing to do with that. Out of here, Rick Carlisle. Listen, he was on the Boston Celtics, so I never liked him. You know what I mean? I didn't like the Celtics. I didn't like Rick Carlisle. All right. So listen, you've been cool, you've been coaching and keeping it low key. Like, just take the high road right now. But listen, if we think back in the day with Van Gundy and Phil Jackson, they used to play these press conference games with the referees and all this stuff. So listen, to me, it's just par for the course. He doing what he got to do, but I don't care. They going down, so that's really what matters most.
Harlem CEO, he says Rick trying to make it seem like Hart was a dirty player. I don't know if you've seen that clip going around Twitter. He mentioned it of Hart, pushing Halliburton in the back.
They called
Reference. No, they didn't call it foul. He I think he pushed him, kind of pushed him forward. He kind of sped up and went to the 3-point line. I just seen the clip, so I don't know what transpired. If he shot that, he looked like he was open for 3 after that. I don't know if he shot it or not, but it was no foul called. And even if it was a foul, it was a regular foul. It wasn't no flagrant. he referenced, oh, Halliburton. Everybody knows Halliburton's back is hurt, and he pushed him in the back, and trying to make it seem like it was done 20 times in every basketball game. You know what I mean? Now, was it a missed call? Absolutely. But was it a dirty play? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? We've been on the other side of some dirty plays, especially last series. So I'm really not trying to hear anything about dirty plays. He also said we're rewarded for our physicality; they're penalized for theirs. I agree with you though. I think it's all just posturing. Trying to get any advantage they can moving into the next series, or pardon me, the next games at Indiana. But like Tay Max said, man, they soft like ice cream, man. And I think I don't know if they got a real tough guy on their team other than the guy who don't play. Johnson. Johnson's on their team, right? The karate guy.
Now we definitely don't want to see him. We definitely don't want to see him. Actually, the tough guy that's been playing though is Isaiah
Yeah, and TJ.
and
TJ
and TJ man.
pesky.
I mean, I was saying the same thing Van Gundy was saying, man. Yo, I hope they don't put TJ back in the game. But I guess his offense is a little. Even though he scored 18 points, I guess they feel suspect about his offense. And so yeah, but I was like, man, like at this point, if you're not beating the team, then you have to physical the team. So they might as well put Isaiah and TJ in there just to make it rougher and tougher. But listen, they don't need no help from me.
I mean, I agree, and I'm not saying this to give them help because it was already discussed in their post game, and obviously losers lounge tonight, guys. You know what I mean? They fans was talking about it as well. Um, my that my boss calling me threw me off. Um, I lost my train of thought. What was I just saying? Pardon
Yeah.
me.
Talking about you didn't want to give them any help with
Oh
suggestions.
no. What was your thoughts of them going away from TJ down the stretch? When I mean, obviously, I think he played the best. He did the best job on Brunson as
But I,
far as.
I think what happened was that Brunson just started cooking though. He started cooking him too. So I was like, all right, well, you know what? Let's just switch it up.
Mm.
And he just continued to cook, Nemhart and whoever else was on him. He was like on the 4 quarter, rampage at that point. So, everybody could get it. Oh God, this guy doesn't take that guy off of that name, D Coolish. Please, can you please update that picture? Like, if you don't update that picture, like I'm talking about, like you need to update it now and then make another comment so we can see that you updated it.
Shout out to D Coolers.
Unless he's your family, then I'll give you a pass.
You are you saying that's the other topping? uh Now shout out to the Cooler 718. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to John from Still Knicks fans. He says the Knicks will continue to have the next man up mentality. Indiana Pacers have made it a point to try their best to play physical, but it's not it's not leaning into what the Knicks do best. Yeah, me and Sim spoke about this. I want to say in the end of the Philadelphia series where it's natural for us to play physical. Like it's part of our DNA. So some of these teams that try to up their physicality when they play against us, but that's not their normal routine, it's forced. And when it's forced and it's unnatural, you know what I mean. You're grasping at straws at times. You know what I mean. Like you tend to make more mistakes because you're doing something that you don't practice. That's not part of your daily philosophy. So that is an advantage for us. I agree. And yeah, they're trying, but they don't have the personnel. You know what I mean. The guys we just mentioned them, Jackson and TJ are probably their two most physical guys, um, energy guys. Everybody else kind of is playing off talent or have a finesse game. You know what I mean? Avoid the contact. Like it's not. They're not built that way, and I think that's why the mo is that they're a little soft. But when you play in the Knicks, a lot of teams look that way, like because it's it's not many teams that play with the physicality that we play with night in and night out.
And
It's
this is
not about turning it up for us. That's who we are.
and this is why once again you got to salute your coach, because you know what, it's his a is because his just like his mentality of toughness and the way he coaches the team is not like the rest of the coaches in the NBA. A lot of these coaches are scared to lose their jobs. They're scared of the players. You understand what I'm saying? They're scared to demand stuff from the players. Yo, Knicks don't have that problem. First of all, they got self-motivated guys. Brunson, Dante, Hart. These guys are self-motivated guys. Precious Achua, OG. Like these are hardworking guys. You know, Mitch, hey, say what you want about him, but he's a hardworking guy. Hardenstein, overachiever. He's a dog. You know what I'm saying? And the guys in the league just don't play the way the Knicks play. And they said it against the Sixers. The coach has trained us to think this way, that no game is over. So all those games when they have the lead, and you're like, oh, why doesn't Tibbs take the players out? Why doesn't he take the players out? Guess what happens? They're so used to being that any game could change at any given moment at the end. On the opposite end of it, now when they needed the points, it allowed them to have just the wherewithal to be able to fight through it. That's the coach. And another thing, the coach, these players are so used to playing so many minutes that unlike other players where they're under low management so much, if they have to play 40, 42, 44, 48 minutes, they're just not equipped to do it because they've never done it. These guys have played enough minutes regularly, consistently enough that, yeah, this is challenging, but it's not challenging like it would be to the rest of the league.
No, agreed, agreed. The coolest, well, he did say that's his cousin. So go ahead and keep the picture up. Like he's his family. He says Brunson got tired of McCollum fouling him and not getting calls, so he started pushing back. When the Pacers coach saw that, he took him out. Um, hey, I was happy he got taken out because I just felt like he was playing him the most physical, the best. Um, Everybody else it seemed like cakewalk for Brunson. Um, Speaking of Brunson, let's just talk about his performance. Willis Reed, 29 points. He missed that free throw. I was mad at the end, just to get him to 30, but 29 points and didn't get to play at all in the second quarter. He could have easily had another 40-point game had he not had to sit for 18 minutes or 16 minutes um in this game because I don't think he came out the game in the second half.
Nope, not at all.
Um, any concern with his injury moving forward?
I mean, if he was able to do what he did in that fourth quarter, I don't really feel I need to be too concerned. But time will tell. I'm much more concerned about OG and the hamstring. I know we started talking about injuries, and we went some different routes, but OG's injury for me is definitely very, very concerning because with hamstrings, man, like you think you cool, then you come back, and then now is that official? He blew his hamstring, or it's because when I
You said
saw
soreness, right?
soreness, sore hamstring. So, before Kerry Cox gets us, blowing our heads off here, I want to wait for the official report. You know,
um, yeah, yeah, hamstring. Who is this? The user. He said hamstrings can be 2 weeks, man. Hamstrings can be 2 months. Hamstrings can be 6 months. It's really about time, rest, and honestly, it could be reoccurring. You know what I mean? Like it's one of the most nagging injuries that you could endure. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you play through it, sometimes that makes it worse. I mean, let's look at Halliburton as the prime example. I mean, he had the hamstring sprain. I think he came back too early, trying to secure the All NBA, so he wasn't playing at his level. And this might be the first game I think he got close to it. You know what I mean? Since he's been back. So yeah, I'm definitely concerned. Only thing I keep thinking about is Frank Ntilikina. Like that's that reoccurring injury that constantly, he'd come back for 2 weeks, play a game or two, be out for 2 weeks. So it sucks because I kind of want him to just take as much time as possible. Knowing OG though, that's probably what he does. He doesn't seem to play hurt at all. You know what I mean? He wants to be 100% when he's on the floor. So that makes the timeline go up a little bit more for me. I think I agree. That is more concerning. Shout out to Josh in the chat. Let me see what he's saying. I think the Knicks can win the series without OG. We have to find ways to win two more games defensively. Anything after that is unknown. Agreed. Agreed. I think we could win as well. Um, and then you in the private chat, you said soreness and pain from the hamstring injury can last for 2 to 5 days. For upgrade injury, up to a month, a few weeks for grade 2 injury. The healing process can be slow because com- you can't completely rest your hamstring muscle for long periods of time. So you got to keep it active. Um, appreciate that info.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We got to find out what his what the grade of his injury is. Again, Kerry Cox got us ready to go crazy. He's talking about he blew the hamstring. Like, listen, let's not go there yet. We're gonna hold off that it's a grade 1, and that we can win this next game. Um, come on, fam. Who you really with? Who you really with? You got a cousin on this team too. You got a
I
kid.
ain't gonna front. I was immediately. I'm like, I hope it's not the hamstring.
I was hoping it was just a cramp.
Yeah, that was my wishful thinking too. Like
Cramp. Get some water. Get some hydration. Get the IV. Get the
Gatorade.
Gatorade. But Tony, all seriousness, uh, we're in the playoff run. Things are going great, and you brought up Frank Ntilikina. Please don't do that. Frank Ntilikina, we can't talk about him. Things are going too well right now. Things are going too good.
Yeah.
Frank Ntilikina. He can't be part. We can't bring him into the energy in the space that we're in now. Okay, we gotta leave him outside the bubble. Only positive energy in the bubble right now.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Oh, it just it just kept running across my mind. I mean, I could have left that out for sure because OG. I mean, not for nothing. Like I said, OG he doesn't seem to want to play hurt anyway. So even if it is the mildest of conditions, I expect him to at least miss this next game. You know what I mean?
Which is why I got to reiterate the importance of Game 3. You gotta win Game 3. I don't care if it ends up going to 6 games or 7 games, right? You feel me? But win Game 3, take the heart from these guys as much as possible, so that you increase the likelihood of a sweep. And more importantly, you give OG more time off.
Um, Tay says Frank Ntilikina and Alpha Payton's names need to be banned from Nick streams. Well, other Nick streams can ban them. This is Nicks and Bruises, so they're ingraded into the title and into the name of the podcast. You know what I mean? So
Fair point.
they're always gonna get brought up in these bad memories. You know what I mean?
That is a very, very fair point, Tony. I stand corrected.
Um, a couple more things before we get out of here. Apparently, my job needs me to come in early.
Get that money.
uh um I don't know how you feel. How you feeling? Let's just um. I thought it would be
I'm cautiously
Knicks in
optimistic.
five.
That's what I had.
Um.
I had Knicks in 5. Right now, I mean, when we saw OG become the player that I think many,
Oh my
including
God.
my brother Sim, wanted him to be in yesterday's game, you know, a guy that is taking 19 shots, is scoring close to 30 points, he's getting in the paint, he's in effect
Aggressive.
in effect, he became the number one option on the court, not number two.
Yeah.
When Brunson was out, he in effect became the number one option. Like, don't get me wrong, Dante was doing some work. He made a couple of shots, yada yada. But basically, the offense was running through OG. He was taking the ball and he was making it happen. Yo, Kerry Cox, my God. So, so losing that, it kind of like if we would have been able to have the momentum of him coming off of that game, Brunson coming back, going into game 3 with OG having a game like that. Oh man. Oh nah. I would have been, man, I might have brought the tie out. We would have been talking about standing on business for a sweep. That because I predicted 5, but after that OG performance last night and Brunson coming back looking like he could, he's good. But now, like, I'm cautiously optimistic, man. I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, OG is I mean, he's the record proves it. 26-4, I think it is. The record just
20. Yeah. 20. No, 5. 27 and 5.
the record proves it. The record proves his value. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even have to think about it. There's nothing to figure out. Just look at the wins and the losses. It tells you who he is. You win, if you play 10 games, you go 8-2 with OG. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what you're losing. So I'm cautiously, but still optimistic. I think Precious has a lot to prove. He's also a free agent. You understand what I'm saying? Like, Big BX, let's go. And you know what I mean? Let's go. Like, Precious, next man up mentality, as was mentioned in the chat earlier. And he's already proven that he can play 40 plus minutes, will play hard nose, can play power forward or center. And you know, to me, the question mark is, what is Burks going to do? That's the big question mark. Or will he just be so bad that Shake gets a chance and it'd be like, this is this is where you give props and flowers to Miami. If this were the Miami Heat, a player that hasn't been playing would come in now and help them get to the next round. That's what we've seen over the past 5-10 years. That's what happens, right? When you're a great organization, that's what you do. You have players that step up and step in. So listen, this is part of the growth of the team, the organization. And listen, whether it's Burks or it's one of these other guys that haven't been getting minutes. So I mean, people call him for shake. His tape looks decent. I watched some of his tape. I mean, he looks like he got game. So I mean, and especially going against the Pacers, they got Swiss cheese D anyway. So if there's any team to go in and kind of like, you want to get comfortable and get your groove, it's fast paced. Indiana's a team where you could kind of, it's not like going against Boston or going against, a Heat team where they're such hard nosed defensive teams where they're gonna come in, they're gonna make it hard. You're gonna feel like, I don't want the ball. The
and to
Pacers, they
and
can
to take it a step further, this might be the time to utilize them now. I mean, granted, it's only 2 more games minimum, 5 more games max. But this might be the time to start utilizing some of the guys that haven't been utilized as much, because we might need them moving forward. You know what I mean? I think we need them moving forward. Like we've got to expand. We've got to expand to a strong 8, regardless of who's out. You know what I
so
mean?
you got to figure Sims is gonna play. You gotta figure Deuce is gonna play. So
That's 7.
that's your locked in 7. And again, like I mentioned earlier, Burks has got to, even if it's only 8 to 10 minutes, Burks is gonna have to get a couple of minutes. But to your point, being that, listen, you up 2-0, right? If there's any time and point in place to give, to give the young guys a shot. Like if I'm the coach, right? I'm like, all right, if the team is down and it's a lot more pressure, then maybe I'll go with the Burks, the veteran. But if we manage to get a lead, or if it's close, or it's a tie game, that kind of thing, then maybe first quarter I throw one of them out there, give them a couple of minutes just to see how they respond. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And now you have a sense on whether or not you could go to them in the second half or later again in the first half. But get them in early in the first quarter, give them a couple of minutes, just see how they respond, see how they react.
Of course, she want to join the show always.
It's the real star of the show.
I gotta get her Knicks jersey so she can represent up here.
Custom Knicks and bruises.
That's right. I think I'm gonna end it off here. Just unfortunately, I gotta go into work early. But that's the way I gotta look at it. You'll get that extra $32.
So we all got to get to the money. Knicks get the money.
Shout out to the chat though. Shuttle, appreciate you joining on this early edition. You know what I mean? Any last words? Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, brand new Ghostface album, out. We having a birthday celebration tonight. Everybody can't go, but I'm gonna be in there shaking it up. Believe that tonight. Shout to Ghost, my guy Driz, the whole Yap City, and this Sunday also DJ Shuttle, Ted Smooth, R&B Sundays as we usually do it. YNVS at that Rabbit Hole, Times Square, New York City. Hit me, DJ Shuttle NYC, if you want some comp admission early on the pull up. But that's what we do on a Sunday. That's what we do on a Sunday tone early. Only R&B, a lot of fly R&B joints, the new joints, the old joints, the collabos. Flavor.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. I just wish I was closer to the city to come to some of these events, man. But enjoy that Ghostface release party. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Album's fire. Got the first single with Nas out right now, Scar Tissue. So if you're not familiar, get in tune with it.
If Nas happen to pop up, tell him I said Yo Black is time. You already know.
I have it on good word that he will be there.
Oh man,
this is the album is on Nas's label.
I know, Massive Appeal.
So, and the first single is featuring Nas. So I have it on good word that Nas will be there.
Oh man, you know what? Enjoy it for me, man. I'm living vicariously through you, man.
DJ Shuttle YNVS, Strong Island, we out here.
Shout out to the chat, man. Y'all already know Yo Black is time.
Bow.
We out. As soon as I find the intro. There we go.